सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्। अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरते यौपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओमित्येतदक्षरमुद्गीतमुपासीत ओमिति ह्युद्गायते तस्योपव्याख्यानम्। Then again, Shvetaketu asked further question, Hu evama Bhagavan Vijñāpayatu iti Yadi tat sat jagatah muyam kasman upalabhyate iti. Earlier question was that how can it be that this universe consisting of such huge and tangible objects as Prithvi, Earth, etc., possessed of names and forms and attributes, how can it be created from, or how can it have Sat as its Upadana Karana, material cause? Because Sat is Atyanta Sukshmam, intangible, very subtle, devoid of names and forms. Then a practical experiment was made. Shvetaka was asked, bring a fruit from this banyan tree. Yes, sir, I brought it. Break it. I did. What do you see in them? Atomic size of seeds I see. Take one seed and split that. Here it is split. What do you see? I don't see anything. So even though the cause of the entire huge banyan tree lies in the seed, in that atomic seed is the potential of the entire banyan tree, but you don't see anything. But you know that the cause is very much here. And therefore, yam vai soumya etam animanam nanibhalayase. This subtle essence of the entire banyan tree is in this atomic seed, nanibhalayase. You do not perceive it with your eyes. Etasya vai soumya esha aninhaivam mahanyagrodha tishtari. But understand that from this subtle essence which is in the seed, mahanyagrodha, the great big banyan tree has emerged and is standing here. Karyabhutah sthula shakha skanda phalapalasavan. This huge banyan tree is a product of this cause here, which is atomic, subtle. This banyan tree consisting of this huge branches and the stem and the leaves and the fruits, etc. Similarly also from Sat, which is not tangible. The idea is from the intangible cause, a tangible effect comes out. The cause of banyan tree, which is the seed, is intangible. In the seed itself, the intangible, in that atomic essence lies the entire banyan tree potential of it. Because the cause is very subtle, therefore you do not see. Similarly also, the cause of creation is very subtle, therefore you do not see. But how the gross banyan tree emerges from the subtle essence, that's the idea. The cause of the banyan tree is within that small atomic seed, imperceptible, intangible, very subtle. You don't see names, forms, branches, stem, you don't see anything there. So the cause of the banyan tree is subtle, intangible, devoid of names and forms. And still this huge banyan tree, which is very gross, very tangible, possessed of names and forms, all of that emerges from that. That you know, pratyakshīkartam ichchase, that everybody knows that this banyan, this seed is the cause of the whole tree. Similarly also Sat, existence, which is intangible, the subtle essence, from that this vast tree in the form of this universe, consisting of names and forms, it emerges. Shraddhatsva Somya, hey Somya, O good looking one, may you have faith, may you have Shraddha. So Vashyakara says here that Shraddhayam prasatyam manasa samadhanam bhutsiddharthe bhavet bhavet. So when you have Shraddha or the trust in the words of the person to whom we are listening, the Shraddha enables me to focus my attention on the words of the one who is speaking. Similarly, if there is Shraddha in the Shastrasya, Guru Vakyasya, in the statements of scriptures and statement of Guru. If Shraddha is there, then the mind gets focused on that, then the mind is capable of comprehending also the subtle meaning of the words and sentences uttered by the teacher. Then further doubt, yadi tat sat jagatah moolam kasma no upalabhyate. The sat or existence is jagatah moolam, the very moolam cause, source or the cause of this creation. Kasman no upalabhyate. How come we do not see that sat? If something is there, you should be able to see it. So, now it is established that Sat, by existence, which is the cause of the creation, is. When Sat is, existence is, Brahman is, how come we do not see it, we do not perceive it? So, the revered sir may please explain to me again with an illustration. May it be so. Then on the page 276, in the passage begin from there, again, vidyamane vastunu upalabhyate prakarantarata upalabhyate. So it's not unusual. There's something which is there. You may not perceive it with one means of knowledge. So what cannot be perceived through one means of knowledge can very well be perceived through another means of knowledge. Prakarantarita upalabhyate. But another math means you can see, know that. Idishunatra drishtantam. So listen to this illustration. So drishtantam, in fact, listen to illustration means carry out this practical experiment. So last one of bringing the fruit from the banyan tree and splitting was a practical demonstration. Here also, the teacher says, Lanam etat udake avadhaya. Hey Shvetaketu, at night, in a pot, may you drop a lump of salt. Lump of salt which you can touch, which you can see. The lump of salt may you drop in water contained in the pot. Athama prataha upasidathaha iti. Next morning, will you please come to me with that water? So tatha chakara. Shvetaketu did what he was told. The previous evening, in a pot of water, he dropped a lump of salt. Tam hovacha. To Shvetaketu, then the teacher, father Uddalaka said, Yad dosha lavanam udake avadhaha anga. O my son, that lump of salt which you dropped in water last night, tat aharayati, may you please bring to me that lump of salt which you dropped in water last night. So what is the teacher asking for? The lump of salt which you dropped, bring that. Tadda avamrusya na viveda. He searched for that lump of salt in the water, but he could not find it. He could not get it. Yatha virinameva anga asyantat asamayati. All right. So he was not able to bring that lump of salt. So then the father says, Yatha vililam navanam naveta. You are not able to find or not able to see that lump of salt which was dropped in water, even though you do not perceive that with your eyes. Tathapi sparshanena cha, so chakshusha sparshanena cha. That lump of salt which is dropped in water, you cannot see it, nor can you touch it. Agruhyamanam vidyate eva. So even though that salt cannot be seen with eyes, cannot be touched with fingers, still it does exist in that water. Upalabhyate cha upayantaraneti. Then how do you verify that the salt is there in water? Upayantarana, by other means of knowledge, merely tasting now, a different means of knowledge. As lump, you could see it with the eyes, you could touch it with your fingers. But then, when it is dissolved in water, you cannot see it, you cannot touch. Then, how do you know the existence of the salt in water? By other means, by tasting. So that is what the father wants the son to see. Anga udakasyantat upari gruhitva achamayati. O my son, take little water from the top of this pot and taste it, sip it. Kathamiti. So how do you find that? Lavanamiti. I find the water is salty. I find salt there. Madhyad asamayati. Take some little water to the middle and sip that. Kathamiti. How does that taste? Lavanamiti. Salty. Antad asama. May you sip some water from the bottom. Kathamiti, how does it taste? Lavanamiti, it is salty. Aviprasetat athama upasidathaha. Okay, now discard this water, let it go, and then come to me. To listen to now what is the lesson that we should take from this experiment. Tadda tatha chakara. Shvetiketu discarded that and came before the father, the teacher. Then it says, Tat shashvat samvardate. So Shvetiketu could now confirm, verify that the salt very much exists in water. So says to the father, I know that the salt very much exists in water all the time. So last night also it existed, this morning also it exists, all the time it exists. That was confirmed by him. Tam hovacha atrava kela sat somya nanibhalayase iti. So hey Somya, O pleasing one, just as here in this body, in this universe, you do not see Sat or existence. So Sat or existence or Brahman is very cause of the universe, very cause of the body also. From the Sat emerge the element fire, from that the element water, from that the element earth, and from these three elements this body is made. Asminneva tejo bannadikare shunge dehe vidyate eva. In this body also the Sat is very much there. In this universe it is there, in this body also it is very much there. No upalanna nibhalayase, but that cause of the three elements and therefore the cause of the body, that Sat or existence or Brahma, you don't see. Now you don't see with your eyes or sense organs, or you cannot infer it even with your intellect. So just as this salt dissolved in water cannot be perceived through eyes or the sense of touch, but can be known or experienced by taste, similarly also Sat or Brahman, which very much exists in his body as well as in the universe of names and forms. But it can very well be comprehended not by sense organs, not by the mind, but by the teaching of the scriptures. So you require another pramanam, another means of knowledge. Evatreva kila vidyamanam sat jagan moolam upayantarana lavanamiva animavat upalapseti vakyashesha upalapsase. So just as the subtle essence of salt, you could perceive it through your sense of taste, so also through other means of knowledge you can comprehend or you can know Sat, which is the cause of the body, cause of the creation. You can definitely comprehend it, know it. So then the next question is, यदि लवण अणिमवत इंद्रियहि अनुपलभ्यामि जगन्मूलम सत उपायांतरेण उपलब्धुम शक्यते. So like the salt, which is subtle essence, could be perceived through the sense of taste. Similarly also, the Sat that very much exists in this body and everywhere, well, it cannot be comprehended through sense organs, through perception, and therefore through all the means of knowledge which are based on perception, such as inference, mainly inference. So inference is all based on perception. You can infer the fire from the perception of the smoke. So you don't perceive the fire which is there in that hillock, but you perceive the smoke. So smoke which you perceive from that, you infer the presence of fire. So inference and all other means of knowledge, they all depend upon pratyaksha or perception. So through perceptions, through sense organs, and through other means of knowledge available at your disposal, you cannot comprehend Sat or existence. That is true. Upayantarena upalabdhum shakyate. But it is possible to comprehend Sat through other means of knowledge. So what is the benefit of knowledge of Sat? Yad upalambhat kurtarthasyat. By the knowledge of which I will become fulfilled. Anupalambhacha akurtarthasyam. And until I know that Sat, I remain unfulfilled. Tasya upalabdhau kaupayati. What's the means of upalabdhi, of the knowledge of Sat or existence? Then, on the page 277, this says, so the teacher says, Yatha Somya Purusham now. So now we proceed further. So with the passage 1 on the page 277. Let us read the passage. Yatha Somya Purusham Gandharebhyah Abhinadhaksham Aniya Tam Tataha Atijane Visrajet Saha Yatha Tatra Prangva, Udangva, Adharangva, Pratyangva, Pradmayita, Avinadakshaha, Anitaha, Avinadakshaha, Visrishtaha. So the father gives an illustration. Yatha Somya Purusham Gandharebhyah Abhinaddam Aniya. Imagine that some man is brought from the country of Gandhara. Abhinadaksham, with eyes blindfolded. Some thieves or robbers snatched away a human person from his own country, robbed him, and then put blindfold on his eyes and tied his hands behind so that he cannot remove his own blindfolds. Aniya, he was brought, tam atijane visrujet. Then he was brought into a deep forest devoid of any human being, atijane, where no human beings were there. In such a place, this fellow was brought and left. Visrujet, he was left there. Sayatha tatra prangva. This fellow has no sense of directions. He is completely lost, but he is definitely suffering the pain of bondage and he wants to be released. Therefore, pradmaita, he shouts to attract the attention of somebody. Where udangva, prangva, in the east direction, eastward. So facing east, he is shouting, or going eastward, he is shouting. Udangva, then northward, adharangva, southward, pratyangva, westward. So in all these directions he is going and shouting. What does he say? Abhinadaksha anitaha. I've been brought here with my eyes blindfolded. Abhinadaksha visrushtaha. Oh, you please listen to me. Please help me. I've been brought here with my eyes blindfolded, with my hands tied, and I'm left here blindfolded. They could have brought me blindfolded or left me here without blindfold, but no. I've been brought here blindfolded, therefore I do not know the way from which I came. And I'm left here blindfolded, therefore I do not know how to go back. So I do not know the way from which I came. And secondly, I do not know how to go back. I'm not able to see. I don't know what the way is, and I don't know how to go back. So says Anandagiri, yatha agupaya shakyo jnatam tha loke pradrushyate drishtanta ityaha. So just that the salt dissolved in water could be perceived through another upaya, namely the sense of taste. So also the sat or existence, which is very much here, which cannot be perceived through sense organs, can be perceived, however, through other means of knowledge. Tatha loke pradrushyate drishtanta. For that the drishtanta, illustration is given, yatha iti. So then the Bhashya says in the 15th line, yatha loke he somya purusham yam kanchita gandharebhyah janapadebhyah abhinadaksham baddhachakshusham aniya dravyaharta taskaraha tam abhinadaksham baddhastam aranye tatopi atijane atigata jane atyanta vigata jane deshe visruje saha तत्र दिग्भ्रमोपेतः यथा प्राङ्वा प्रागिञ्चनः प्राङ्मुखो वा इत्यर्थः तथा उदं वा अधरां वा प्रत्यं वा प्रद्मायित शब्दं कुर्यात् विक्रोशेर् अभिनद्दाक्षोऽहं गन्धारेभ्यः तस्करेण आनीतः अभिनद्दाक्ष एव विसृष्टः इति. यथा लोके, just as in this world, in the day-to-day life, he Somya, oh pleasing one, oh good-looking one, Purusham yam kanchit, some person, some XYZ, Tom, Dick, some person. Gandharebhya, Janapadebhya, Abhinadaksham, Baddham, Baddha Chakshusham, Aniya. So Gandharebhya, Janapadebhya, some person from the country of Gandhara, which is the Afghanistan. Abhinadaksham Aniya, he was brought Abhinadaksham with the eyes blindfolded. Baddha Chakshusham, eyes are blindfolded. Aniya. So who brought him? Says Bhashyakara. Dravyaharta Taskaraha. Right. So Dravyaharta Taskaraha. Somebody has robbed him the money, some thief who has robbed him of all the money. Abhinaddakshameva Baddhastam. Not only is blindfolded, his eyes are blindfolded, Baddhastam, his hands are also tied, and maybe tied behind. Aranye. This is Tatah Atijane. Tatobi Atijane. Not only in the forest, but something which is more solitary even than the forest. So Atigata Jane Atyant Vigate Deshe. He is brought and left in a place where there will be no human being. Animals will be there, but no human beings to listen to release him. Visujet, he is left there. So says the Abhinava Narayana, line 35, Tata Shabdartham Vaktum. The Shruti Tam Tataha Atijane Visrujet. This is Tataha, even more than that, from. So thus Shabdam Tat Avaditvena Aranyapada Adhyaharena. From there, so in a place which is even more solitude than that, then what? Then the forest. So what forest is added? Aranyapada Adhyaharena, the Vashyakara said, Baddhastam Aranye Tatobi Atijane Atigata Jane Atyanda Vigata Jane Deshe Visujet. So in the forest also he is taken into a place which is devoid of any human presence. और सिद्ध अन्य यथा दिग्भ्रमोपेतः यत्किंचित् दिग् अभिमुखो विक्रोशरी तथा स तत्र भिजने देशे शब्दं कुर्यादि संबंधः. This is someone who is totally deluded with reference to direction, lost his direction because he is blindfolded. Yatkinchit dig abhimukho vikroshati. He just shouts in whichever direction. in different directions, he shouts. Tatha satatra vijane deshe shabdam kuryas. Will this man also in that place, devoid of any human presence, he also shouts there. So going to Bhashya, tatra digbhrhamopetaha yatha. So the one who has lost his direction, prangva. So praganchana, prangmukho va praganchana, eastward, facing east, he shouts. Or prangmukha, so prangmukha, or facing the east direction, or going eastward, this fellow shouts. Tad udangva, same way. So, facing north or going northward, he shouts. Adharangva, facing south or approaching south, he shouts. Pratyangva, facing west or going west, he shouts. Pradmaita, shabdam kuryat, vikroshed. He makes noise, meaning he shouts. So says Anandagiri, prang iti asya arthamah praganchana iti. What does it mean? Prangva, praganchana means eastward. Tasya vivakshamasam kadai prangmukha, meaning the facing east. That's all. Or Abhinav says, Prag Gamanam, Prag Abhimukhatvam va Prag Shabdartha. So Prag means what? East. So either facing east or moving towards east. Evam Uttareshu Drashtavyam, similarly, in other cases, north, south, west, etc. Adharang means what? Dakshina Abhimukha. Adharang means facing the south direction. Pratyangva iti adhyartha pratyangva pradhmaita. Maybe in the Abhinav, Narayan and the Saraswati, in that text, the word pratyang may not be there. So pratyangva iti adhyartham padam. So text may not have mentioned pratyang, but Bhashyakara is supplying also. It is not the meaning of adharang, that's the idea. Na tu adharang ityasya vyakhyana bhramitavyam. Prag, apag, adharat, udak, adharat. These four words are there. Prag, apag, udak, adharat. Paschat, purastat, adharat, uktat. Ityadishu tasya sabdasya Dakshinadi dig arthatva darsana pratyek arthatva abhavat. And so, he is not looking at himself, he is looking at different directions. So these words are meant for mentioning different directions. Continuing with Bhashya, says Abhinaddakshoham Gandharebhya Taskarena Anitaha. I've been brought here from the country of Gandhara by this thief with my eyes blindfolded. Abhinaddaksha Visushtahaiti. And after bringing me here also, he has not removed my blindfold, not removed my bondage, and I am left here. Iti. Then continuing, next page 278. Tasya yatha vinhanam pramuchya prabruyat etam nisham gandharaha etam nisham vraja iti sagramat gram pruchan Pandito Medhavi Gandharan eva upasampadhyeta evameva iha Acharyavan Purusho Veda tasya tavadeva shiram yavanna vimokshe atha sampatsye iti tasya yathabhinahanam pramuchya. So somebody comes along, fortunately, even though he was left in a place devoid of any people, and still by chance somebody comes along, and that somebody also is a kind person, so that his blindfold and his bondage on the hand is removed yathabhinahanam in the reverse direction. It is tied in the reverse way, that is untied. Pramuchya, then only he can be released. If you are not careful, then you further complicate it. And so, pramuchya, prabhuyat, then is told, etam nisham gandhara, the Gandhara northern direction. So this is a direction which the country of Gandhara is. Etam nisham vrajayati, you proceed in this direction and you will come to Gandhara. So grama, gramam prachan. But then, as he proceeding towards Gandhara, he verifies that from one village to the other, that very path, Panditaha, Medhavi, because he is Pandita. So one who received the instruction, Medhavi, and person who is able to follow the instruction. So not only he was given instruction, the Gandhara is in this way, but he was able to follow that instruction. Gandharaneva upasampadhyeta, and that's how he does reach his country of Gandhara. Evameva Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Similarly here also, in the case of the bondage of life, Acharyavan Purusho Veda, the one who is Acharya, the teacher, he acquires knowledge. Tasya tavadevacharam yavanna vimokshe. How long does it wait? As long as the body does not fall off. Atha sampatsye, as the body falls, then he becomes completely liberated. All this is a very important passage because it's oft quoted. And particularly tasya tavadevacharam yavanna vimokshe atha sampatsye, this sentence is also a very important sentence. One rare sentence you find here, which talks about Videha Mukti. So, some of these sentences are found which gives ammunition to Bhashyakara to argue or be able to convince others of the validity of what he is saying, what his interpretation is. So now continue with the Bhashya. Evam vikroshataha tasya yatha vinhanam yatha bandhanam pramuchya muktva karunikaha kasyada etam disham उत्तरतः गंधाराः एतां दिशं व्रज इति प्रब्रूयात्. Evam vikroshataha. So this man who is blindfolded, whose hands are tied, and who is shouting for help, seeking help, tasya yatha binahanam yatha mandanam pramuchya. So some kind person comes along and unties his bond. Yatha binahanam, as he was tied, in the reverse way, he unties. So says Abhinava, says Anandagiri, Yatha bandhanam, bandhanam anusrutya idiyavata. Yatha bandhanam pramuchya. So following how he was tied, he is untied in the same manner, in a manner, reverse manner of how he was tied. Whereas, as Abhinava says, Yatha binahanam yena kramena grantyaha karanam tena kramena ityartha. So the sequence in which he was tied, the knots were tied, in the reverse sequence he is untied. All of us have experienced in the Uttarayana when this thread gets, totally confused, then you have to untie that. Sometimes untying makes it more complicated. You wind up tying if you are not careful. Therefore, you have to be very careful in untying. And so, yena kramena ganthya karanam tena kramena. The manner or the sequence in which the knot was tied, in that sequence. Sahasa pramochane vyatya apatya. If you are in haste, if you are in hurry, so you need a lot of patience in that untying, the tangle. Otherwise it gets further tangled. If you are not careful, it gets further tangled. Sahasa pramochane vyatyapatya mulato naso nasyat. And then sometimes the people get frustrated and then you pull it and then you just can never untie it. Then you have to just break it, that's all. So, sahasa pramochane. If you try to untie it quickly, impatiently, vyatya apatya, then instead of untying, it may get further tied up. Mulato nasho nasyat. If you don't follow the same process, then you can untie it partially, but not totally. Idin darstantike bandha agama krameneva tan nivrittau mulanasasya. So manner in which the human being is bound by ignorance, in that manner he has to be released. Has to be done very patiently. The teacher has to be very patient. He has to take each case of the student and how the student is tied. Although ignorance is common, still adhyasa, superimposition, is unique with everybody. So everybody has identification, the body, mind, sense complex, and from that variety of notions or complexes are there, but still everybody is a unique case of different complexes. How those complexes affect a person. So how he is, you have to see why this person is sad, what makes him sad, what kind of complex is entertaining. The teacher is to see and help him release from those ties, from those knots. Vidyate hridaya granthi. Hridaya granthi, the knot of the heart, has to be not cut up open, but has to be untied. So the teacher has to be very patient, very perceptive. He should see in what sequence the bondage is. Ignorance is there. Adhyasa is there. What is adhyasa or superimposition? What has it done to this person? He is bound, no doubt, but how does his bondage get manifest in his thoughts and his behavior? And accordingly, patiently, the teacher has to remove that. Mulato naso nasyat. Otherwise, the bondage will not be removed in its totality. Darstantike bandha agamana krameneva tan nivritto mulanasasya. So just as it applies in the case of that knot of the rope, here also it applies in the case of different knots of the granthis, which have arisen from the identification with the body-mind complex. Hridaya granthi. Anyatha koragamatra utkaliga upashamatram syaditi. Anya koragamatra. Koraga means a bud. Utkalika upashamatram. You will loosen it, but you may not be able to remove it completely if you do not do it systematically. Iti dushtandi sthitva eva muktamidi bhavaha. So, yatha abhihananam yatha bandhanam pramuchya muktva. In going back to Bhashya, Karunika kaschid. So who has released this person from his blindfold, from his hands which are tied? Karunika kaschid. Some again, some unknown person, but one who is very kind or compassionate. Then says to him, not only he unties him, he knows where Gandhara is, and therefore, so etam disham uttartah Gandhara etam disham vraja iti prabruyat. Tells him that the country of this fellow knows I come from Gandhara, fortunately. He knew where he was living. So, Gandhara anitosmi, have been brought here from Gandhara. So the person says, this direction north is the Gandhara. Etam disham vraja iti prabruyat. And therefore, we will proceed in this direction. Continue Bhashya. Sah evam karunikena bandhanat mokshitah grama gramantaram prachan panditah upadeshavan medhave paropadishta grama pravesha marga avadharana samartha san gandharan eva upasampadhyeta nahitaraha मूढ़मतिहि देशांतरदर्शन त्रुड्वा स एवं कारुणिकेन बंधनात् मोक्षितः. This person who has been released from his bondage by karunikena, by a very kind or a compassionate person. Gramad gramam, what is gramad gramantaram puchan? So from village to village, he keeps asking, verifying. He is Pandita and Medhavi. This fellow is bound himself is Pandita and Medhavi. So these are the qualifications required to receive the instructions and follow the instructions. Pandita Upadeshavan. So Pandita is the one who has been given the Upadesha, who has been given the instruction. Medhavi Paropadishta Grama Pravesh Marga Avadharana Samartha. Samartha, capable, Avadharana Samartha, capable of ascertaining what? Marga. So he is a Medhavi, one who is capable of ascertaining the path. What path? Paropadishta Grama Pravesha Marga. The path for entering the country which the other person has instructed him. So, both the things are required. You should receive the Upadesha and secondly, be able to translate that Upadesha or teaching in your own life to see how that teaching applies to you. So, even though here it is said that in the example, that compassionate person released him from the bondage, untied his knots. Here, the knots are untied by the same person with the help of the teacher. Here, you have to untie the knots. So, teacher gives the instruction all right, but we should be able to follow that instruction and ourselves carry out the untying process. So therefore the disciple should be medhavi, capable of ascertaining what the teaching means to me and be able to go to along the same path and untie those knots and reach the goal. So when the teacher says that do not come to the sphere of raga and dvesha, we should know what raga is in me. What tendency is called raga? What is called dvesha? So dhyasa, what is the dhyasa in my case? Avaranam, vikshepa, what is avaranam? What is vikshepa? How does it all apply to me? What kind of complexes are generated in me with identification of the body, panchakosha, with the prana, with the mind, etc. So you have to see that in our own case, how that panchakosha viveka applies in my case. So therefore, that capability is required on the part of the student. Thus they talk of adhikaritva. And so, that you must have the fourfold qualification. And so that capability is required. That's what is intended by Panditaha Medhavi. No, Itarah Bhashyakara, other fellow will not. Mood Matihi, who does not understand what is told, or who does not comprehend, he understands the 10th man story, but does not understand how it applies to him. All stories he understands, all logic he understands, but does not know what it means in practical life. Moodamati or Deshanda Darshana Trudva. So this Moodamati, the person of dull intellect who does not know how to translate the instruction into his own life, will not benefit from that instruction. He can repeat, yes, if you go to this path, you will find a church and then a temple. But then he should know what a church is, and what a temple is, what are all those signposts. He should know that. Going north, which is north direction, etc. All of this he has to know. So Shamadhi, Shatka Sampadi, what is meant by Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, how to cultivate them? Viveka, Vairagya, what do they mean? How to cultivate them? All that work this student has to do. And so, therefore this Pandita and Medhavi. So in Viveka Chudamani also, what is it? Vedavi Pandito Vidwan Uha Poha Vichakshana Adhikari Atma Vidyayam. Same words are used by Viveka Chudamani. Medhavi Pandito Vidwan Uha Poha Vichakshana. So Medhavi, Bhashyakara, Medhavi is not just intelligent person. Meda generally stands for the ability to retain the meaning, to listen, to comprehend the meaning, and to retain the meaning. Meda. Medhavi also is a person who can remember so that he can bring to the situation the teaching that was given to him. It should occur to you right at the moment. So when the time comes, that is when you should remember, oh, this is what the teacher has told me. That's a meza. So here, however, Medhavi Pandito Vidwan, his Panditaha, very learned, means who has got learning of the scriptures, and Medhavi, one who knows how to interpret those scriptures, teaching, and apply in his own life. Medhavi Pandito Vidwan, Uha Poha Vichakshana. Uha Apoha. You should be able to present your position. Apoha, you should be able to refute the position of the opponent. That ability also is required. To present your view and the ability to refute the view of the opponent. Otherwise everything is right. Oh, what he says also sounds right. This fellow also says is right. Everything sounds right to these people. But you know that one thing is right. How other things are not? They sound right, but they are not right. So Bhashya na itaraha moodamatihi. Sas pandito miravati vishanto vyakshidhyam darshayati na itara moodamatihi deshantar darshan trudva. Someone is a deluded fellow, or instead of Gandhara he wants to go elsewhere. Deshantar darshana trudva. So even though the teacher has instructed him as to how to reach Gandhara, the instruction he has, he knows how to go to Gandhara with that instruction. But he wants to go to Mithila. Then also he cannot reach Gandhara. So one person does not know how to interpret his instruction and go to Gandhara, Moodamati. Other person knows, but he has some other interest, and therefore also he cannot reach the destination. In the footnote 1, so Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Where is that one? Oh, here it is, Acharyavan. Okay, second line of the passage, and Acharya is it, okay. So Acharyavan. So footnote 1 says Acharyavan Purusho Veda tasya tavadecheram yavan namamokshe adha sampatshe. We will see what it means is that Acharyavan Purusho Veda, the person who is the Acharya, he alone acquires the knowledge. Having acquired the knowledge, when will it be that he will be completely released? Videha mukti. Tasya tavadevacharam yavan navimokshe. He has to wait only as long as the body is. Once the body drops off at the sampatshe, he attains or merges into Sat, becomes one with Sat. Is a statement which is very clearly indicating Videha Mukti. Sadhya Mukti and Videha Mukti. Here atyati atra Vedanam Upasanam Natu Jnanam iti Madhvaha, who are saying Ramanujayaha. So how these very same passages have been interpreted by different acharyas to derive the meaning which they want to communicate. Meaning that these texts, they lead different people for different interpretations, arrive at different conclusions. So Ramanujacharya arrived at the conclusion that the jiva is a part of Brahman. Jiva is a spark of consciousness. So instead of interpreting this statement as a statement of Videha Mukti, they say Vedanam Upasanam Evam Veda Ityupanishad. So what Veda is very often used in the sense of meditation. Atra Vedanam Upasanam Natu Jnanam. So Veda can mean knowledge or it can also mean meditation, because both ways knowledge is there. In meditation, the knowledge is of the nature of realization. You realize what you are meditating upon. So that also is called Vedanam. But primary Vedanam is knowledge. Yat uktam apastambena. And so, seeking the support of the apastamba shruti, Ramanujacharya or his followers say, Buddhe kshema prapanam tacha shastraruddhamidi Ramanujiyaha. Buddha means when one becomes Buddha or enlightened. Kshema prapanam videhi kaivalyamiti. Videhi kaivalyam. Tacha Shastra Viruddham. Apastamba says that this Videhi Kaivalya, Videhi Mukti, at the occurrence of knowledge is opposed to Shastra. So Ramanujacharya interprets the word vid or the root vid as meditation instead of knowledge, because if you take knowledge, then for enlightened person buddhi, kshema prapanam, tacha shastra viruddham, then you cannot become videha mukta simply by knowing that you need to do something. This is what Apastamba seems to suggest. So he said, Tanna, that interpretation is not right. Yo Veda nihitam guhayam. So root Veda is used in the sense of knowledge by the Shruti in a number of places. Yo Veda nihitam guhayam. One knows Brahman, that is lodged in the heart as the very self. Veda there means knows. Brahma Veda, Brahmaya bhavati. One who knows Brahman becomes Brahman. Yachet aved, again avedit, atha satyam asti. If one comes to know Brahman in this lifetime, then of course life becomes meaningful, worthwhile, fulfilled. Iti, number one. Then Vidhi Samanarthaka hai. There are other verbs also in Sanskrit which in fact indicate knowledge, not only Vidhi. Tamatmastam yenu pashyanti dhiraha tesham shantim tesham param shantim netaresham. Kathopanishad. Tamatmastam anupashyanti dhiraha. Here the root vid is not there, but samanarthaka. So drush or pashya, that dhatu is there, which means with or to know. Tasmin drushte paravare. There also in Mandaka Upanishad, drush dhatu is used. So tasmin drushte paravare. When the para and avara are seen. Atmevavud vijanataha. The root gnya is used. So one who knows Atma as one non-dual became the Atma. So all duality is reduced to Atma. So for the one who knows the self, all this duality is only reduced to Atma. Nothing remains other than Atma for the right person. Ekatvam anupashyatah. Again, one who is seeing ekatvam or non-duality. Evameva asa paridrashtuhu for Prashno. So then root drush is used in the sense of no. And so इत्यादि बहुश्रुति अनुसारेण विधिधातोः ज्ञानवशत्वात्. So from these very many sentences you see that the root vid is in the sense of knowledge. The point is that the root vid is used in both the senses. It is used very often in the sense of upasana or meditation, but more often in the sense of knowledge. Upasanartha prayoga hai lakshana pattesya. If vid means upasana, then it's an indirect meaning. By lakshana vritti it means upasana, because with the primary meaning is knowing. To interpret with as upasana, you have to employ the lakshana vritti, which is not right if you can avoid it. Then what is apastambhoktastu jnanantarama? Buddhi kshema prapanam. Buddhi, when knowledge takes place, kshema prapanam, attainment of videha mukti. Says that is Shastra Viruddha. So what apastama means is Jnana Antarameva Vedaya Mukta Svikara Shastra Viruddha. Some people believe that as soon as Brahma Jnanam takes place, this person drops off. Because now there is no purpose left for him to exist. Therefore, with the help, when knowledge takes place, you are gone. There is some people's belief. Even Apastam also refutes that belief. That no, Videha Mukti or death does not take place immediately after knowledge. To say that it happens is Shastra Viruddham. So Kshema Prapti, Videha Kaivalyam is Smrityartha. Kshema means Videha Kaivalyam. It doesn't mean as soon as knowledge takes place. Vayam tu Tattvajnananantaram tasya Tavadeva Charamiti Chirena Jivan Muktim Svikurmaha. We the Vedantins accept the Jivan Mukti. Tavadeva Chiram, so long he has to wait. Meaning that the wise person also has to wait for Videha Mukti, for the liberation hereafter. That's what Chiram indicates. That means there is some time between Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. So Jivan Muktim Svikurmaha. There are some people who do not accept Jivan Mukti, liberation while living. They only accept the liberation when one is no more in this body. That as long as you are in the body, you cannot be liberated. That's what some people believe. Therefore, liberation means the body goes away. Says we say, Tattvajnananantaram Jivan Muktasyapi Sukhadi Anubhava Prarabdhayattaha. We say that there is a Jivan Mukta, a person liberated while living, and as long as the Prarabdha is there, so long he also has to go through the experiences of pleasure and pain. Taduktam Prarabdhaya Samarpitam Swapuhu Ityesha Manisha. So in Manisha Panchakam, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says that who is my teacher? Who is a wise person? Who has handed over his body to destiny. Meaning that now, he has no more his own agenda with the body, destiny has the agenda now. That means Prarabdha is there, Vapu also is there, so Jivan Mukti also is there. Vidhi upastyo avyatarekana prayoga upasana prakarane pathitaha. So, where Vidhi upastyo avyat, that Ved means upasana, that prayoga is only upasana prakarana. Not, there are two prakaranas. So, karma prakaranam, upasana prakaranam, jnana prakaranam. In upasana prakaranam, the Vid dhatu is often used in the sense of upasana or meditation. Mano brahmeti upasidaiti arambhat. So, in that section which talks about the upasana, there Yoveda means the upasana or meditation. No tattvajnana prakarana. When tattvajnana, the word root with is not in the sense of meditation, it is in the sense of knowledge. Ataha vidhi jnanartha eva. Therefore, vid means to know. And therefore, so Acharyavan Purusho Veda. So one who is the Acharya acquires knowledge or acquires the knowledge of the Upasana. What should we say? Here Ved means it is a Jnana Prakaram, so Ved means to know and not to meditate. So that is how the discussion came up. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrahashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurti Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Bhyo